Hey guys, so today we're going to be creating a look of a two-toned eye with the two Huda palettes, the Ruby Obsessions and the Warm Brown Obsessions. So we are going to get started. We're going to zoom on in a little too far. Back it up. I'm yelling at my Echo to start a timer. We're going to use the NYX Proof It Waterproof Eyeshadow Primer to prime my lids. And I'm going to start with both eyes at the same time, which I normally do when I do my eyeshadow off camera, but I'm going to do it that way today as well. I'm just blending that in with my fingers. And then I'm using this NYX single eyeshadow from the Advent Calendar this past year in Cookie Cutter. It's just like a nude base shadow. And this fluffy brush from Sephora. To set the primer. And get it ready for our magical Huda shadows. It's almost gone and I'm so sad. I say that every time I use it. We're going to take the Warm Brown Obsessions palette and struggle to open it. And I'm going to take the middle lower row on a fluffy brush. This is the Morphe M505. And I'm going to fluffy stroke that guy through the crease. He's just going to be the transition shade for the other shade we're going to lay down here in a little bit. Once he's blended out basically to nothing, he's just adding a little bit of color to the crease. I'm going to go in with a different brush in the bottom, I think it's the bottom left corner if you're not looking at the camera, with this little toothbrush guy. I don't know what he's called. I don't know his technical name. He doesn't have a number. And we're going to use him to pat the color onto the lid and really just pack it on there. It doesn't have to be precise. We're doing outside of the transition color, just this one color shadow on the lid. So it's just going to be blown out color. We're just smushing this guy around. And then I'm going to go back in with the 505 brush and start to blend him up through the crease. And I'm going to take it pretty high up towards the brow. And I'm just using circular motions and then going back in through with like a little windshield wiper motion. I'm going in with just the lightest dab of a bit more color and tapping off any excess just because I don't want to add too much more product. I just want to fill in like right above the crease with a little bit more color. So we're just adding a little bit more. And then continuing to blend just so that the color just kind of blows out over the entire lid space. And then we're going back in with this little toothbrushy guy and just patting it back over the lash line and over the lid to make sure that we filled in any gaps, since we were using a fluffier brush and not really any flat shader brushes. And then going back in to blend again. And then I'm taking my color switcher and my little toothbrushy guy and cleaning him off. And I'm going in with the Ruby Obsessions palette. And I'm taking that side darkest ruby shade and I'm dipping into him. And what you can't see, because I'm annoyingly out of the frame, is that I'm putting on my lower lash line with that little toothbrushy guy. And then I'm taking this Morphe M507 brush, which is like a little tiny fluffy brush, and I'm blending it out, also annoyingly out of frame. And then we're adding more of the same color to the bottom. And just blending. And then going back in with the bigger brush and blending it out. Blend, blend, blend. And you lose a little bit of the color blending it so much. So I'm going back in and adding a little bit more of the red. And I have that annoying area right underneath my eye that got red on it from the little toothbrush guy. When I was adding it in, I did go back and clean that up with concealer because I could not take it. And I'm brushing through my brows. There's the Sephora random brush. And this is the Benefit Brow Conditioning Primer. I like multitasking, so I'm going to let this guy sit and brush him through my brows while I do my other eye. So it looks like we're going to do the other eye to match, but we're not. We're going to go in and we're going to use the red palette on top and we're going to do the brown palette on bottom. So we have like the two-tone effect happening opposite on the other eye. And we're going to take that middle kind of orangey shade and use that as a transition color. I don't think that you probably really needed a transition color. I just find that it's easier to work with a transition color versus just going straight in with the darker, brighter colors. Unless I'm doing a look that doesn't really require a lot of blending. It just gives it something to kind of blend into and work towards. And I'm going in with that toothbrushy guy and that deepest ruby color that we used on the lower lid on the other eye. And we're going to pat him onto the lid. I'm going to be honest, this color is not what I initially thought it was going to look like. In the pan, it looks like it's a deep, like burgundy color. But on the lid, it was a lot more pinky, and it was a lot patchier to work with, and it was a lot harder to blend than the browns. But I do love the ruby palette, and I actually use it a lot. Just the burgundy one was one that I had not used very much, and it was harder to work with over a larger area. So we're going to repeat the steps with this eye, blending out the color that we placed on the lid, working up towards the brow bone. And you can see when I'm blending, like, it's not really going anywhere. Like, it's not blending up really at all. The brown moved kind of towards the lid, the brow bone as I was blending. This didn't really go anywhere. It just kind of lost its color. So we're going back in with more. And then we're going back in and tapping it back onto the lid, because obviously the color dulled out quite a bit. And then we're going back in and cleaning off my brush. And I'm just going in with a clean brush to blend it. I honestly had to add color and blend so many times with the burgundy on this eye. It took a lot longer on this eye than the other one did. But that would not dissuade me from buying the palette. We're going back into the Warm Brown Obsessions palette, into that same brown we used on the other eye. And we're going to place that on the lower lash line. Once again, annoyingly out of frame, because I was zoomed in too far and didn't realize it until I was editing. And we're going back in with the 507 brush. And just blending it out. And adding more color, blending, adding color, blending, adding color. And then I just went back in and kind of touched up places on the brown on the other eye, and then like blended the brown on the under eye into the burgundy up top, and just kind of made sure everything looked fine. Then I went back in and combed through my brow on this eye. And I went back in with my Benefit Brow Conditioning Primer and made sure that that brow got some of that. Oh my god, please ignore my cat. She is meowing at nothing. And it's ridiculous. I'm going with my Sills Booster XL from Lancome, only on my bottom lashes. And then I'm going to use my Milk Makeup Kush Mascara on my bottom lashes as well. And then I'm going to go in and curl my lashes. And use the Bad Gal Bang mascara by Benefit. This has actually become one of my favorite mascaras, and I have a drawer full. I just like this one quite a bit. Not as much once it starts to dry out, but I think that's every mascara. And then I'm going to go in with the Precisely My Brow pencil. This is shade number 5. And I'm really just going to go in and fill in just kind of the arch and like the little tail of my brows. I'm going to leave them pretty natural looking today. As natural as I can leave my brows, honestly. Since I'm doing a full eye look and a full face. But I don't want to go too crazy, because I'm really just going to the eye doctor and going home. I'm going to fill in the front just a little bit. And then I'm going to brush through them with the little spoolie end. And that's pretty much that for the brows. So I'm going to set them with the 24-hour brow setter clear gel, the one with the double-sided teeth. And I go in with the long teeth on the one side first for each side. And then I go back in with the short teeth so I feel like it kind of grips the hairs better, and then you can kind of make sure they're completely coated. Of course, I picked these lashes up and they didn't want to cooperate. These are the Salon Perfect lashes in 614. So I'm going to grab my lashes and my Duo Glue, the latex free one, and the brush-on kind, and I glued them, and then while they're drying, I'm doing the Fenty Beauty highlighter in Hustla Baby, because I like multitasking, so while they dry, I usually do something else. This is the Morphe M106. I'll double check on that. And we're just going to place the highlighter everywhere. Sometimes I use this brush, sometimes I use a fan brush. I just felt like this one today. Sometimes it's just whatever I feel like. And then I'm going to use this little tiny Morphe brush to put a little bit in the corner of my eye. I don't want to do a strong inner corner highlight, I just kind of felt like this look was better without it. And I'm going to take my little snappy tool and grab up my lashes. And stamp them onto my lid. There was something sticky on my snappy tool, and it didn't want to release my lashes. And it was a struggle. I'm going to take my small tweezers and tuck down the corners. I'm just going to smush those guys down. And then I'm going to smush them together close to my lash line to make sure they're stuck on there. And that's the finished look. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.